Velina Mekealoha, my name is Mikey Burke. My ohana have been in Lahaina for 4 generations. My kupuna came here from Molokai and Hawaii Island. It's hard to condense everything that needs to be said in the time allotted for testimony, so here's the Cliff Notes versions of what I believe needs to happen in Lahaina to move forward. First of all, there are too many decisions being made about us without us. Everyone loves to pimp out Lahaina, then sit back and collect the millions of dollars only to improve your districts and make quality of life better for your residents. Guess what? We're done. You want the money so badly? Pimp out your districts. Lahaina has been raped long enough. Your turns. Launch the illegal boat tours from your non-commercial boat harbors. Approve permits for surf and snorkel lessons on your beaches. Give short-term rental permits for every other zip code than 96761. Sound ridiculous? Exactly. If it's unimaginable for your districts, then it absolutely should not be entertained in Lahaina. You wouldn't tell an abused wife to return home to her wife-beating husband because she's been with him for decades and she needs him, right? Exactly. Stop telling Lahaina to do the same. And if you haven't already noticed, STRs do not serve Maui any longer. End STRs for good. When we rebuild, it needs to be done with residents being the priority. Everything else, like businesses, will fall into place as the support needed for the residents. If you build with tourism as a priority, then we will face the same imbalance and abuse as before. We are done. And as we rebuild, we need to take into account all the cultures that make up this town, with Kanaka Maoli people and practices taking the lead on these efforts. Why? Because while everyone is concerned about the rebuild from the ground up, only the Kanaka Maoli of this place are envisioning the rebuild starting from the ground down. The Aina and the Vai need to come first. After we take care of the Aina and the Vai, we can focus on the physical structure and infrastructures. Some requirements should be temporary emergency housing should be in Northwest Maui, from Ka'anapali to Kapalua. It should not be in the fire-prone areas south of Puamana, like all these backroom conversations are insisting. Front Street and all of the shoreline communities should be turned into open space park and memorials and celebrations of what Lahaina once was, the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, the breadbasket of this Pai'aina, the melting pot of all the wonderful cultures that make up this town. Build walking and bike paths, restore Moku'ula and Mokuhinia, make Front Street the biggest cultural center Hawaii has ever seen. Do not build the structures along the shoreline again, as we've been discussing managed retreat for years. Fortunately and unfortunately, a large part of the managed retreat has already been taken care of. Design the town and neighborhoods to have wider roads, sidewalks, and greenways, non-negotiable. Change the planning and building codes to require the planting of native trees or fruit-bearing trees on each property being rebuilt. And just like a new build is required to have solar hot water, you can require a minimum solar plus battery too, and it will be cheaper to include in the build than after the fact. Restore Kamalu'ulu'olele and not just refer to it. Design better evacuation routes in these neighborhoods so there are 2 ways in and out minimum. And since infrastructure has to be redone, expand R1 water reuse to be able to supply all the new subdivisions and commercial areas and water the greenways and open spaces. Mayor Bisson announced a new emergency permitting office specific to the rebuild efforts. Cite this office in Lahaina and expedite development in the areas that are approved in our very thorough and vetted West Maui County plan. Focus on the newer subdivisions that already meet updated codes and get them going ASAP when we bring older neighborhoods up to code. Design with people in mind, the community plan in mind, Mauka to Makai. I have a lot more, but I'm going to respect your time, so mahalo. Thank